Welcome back to the course. This is Module 4, Part 3, Listening for Intermediate Learners. Listening is one of the harder skills to develop, since it involves decoding the language at speed, often without having a visual reinforcement. Asking your learners to collect a limited range of information can help them focus on the most important elements of what they hear, and so prevent them from being overwhelmed. In this part of the course, we're going to see how you can use games to promote listening in a more relaxed atmosphere. This course is designed for intermediate levels, meaning levels B1 and B2 of the CEFR. However, all the exercises can of course be adapted for all levels. Our listening practice game is an information gap activity. Information gap activities work really well online since learners are not able to show their material to their classmates, and so they really need to convey the information verbally instead. But digital tools are also useful for playing the same activity in the classroom. Face-to-face classroom, that is. The aim of this particular exercise is for the learners to work together to determine where various fruits and vegetables are located on the stall run by the fictional Mrs. Green. Each learner has a specific set of clues that they will read out loud to their teammates, which in their turn will have to listen to and act upon. In this specific example, we have a group of 4 learners, so each of our learners has 3 clues, but you can divide the number of clues between the group as you'd like. So here you can see the basic PowerPoint slideshow which I have used to set up the material for this exercise. We have the instructions here and the clues set up across 4 slides. 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can reorganize the clues across a different number of slides depending on how many you want per group. And now, I am going to save the material for learner A as a separate PDF. To do that, you have to select Print, Print to PDF, and then select the specific page. For example, here we have page 3. You can save that, and you can do the same with B, C, and D. That's it. Depending on your learners, you can upload all of the clues to your online classroom and ask them to open only the clues for their own particular letter. Or you might like to send clues separately to them, if you think they might be tempted to sneak a peek at the other clues as well as their own. In general, older learners can be trusted to play by the rules, so I'm just going to upload the clues to Google Classroom. Here, to open the Google Classroom, you select the options from Google, Google Classroom, and then Create New. And Create. Our Google Classroom is now being created. Now we can upload our PDFs from our downloads, clues A to D, and we are ready to go. Now all of students have access to these PDFs. You will also need a collaborative document, for example, Google Docs. This is a common Word file. There, the learners can write their ideas. I am going to also upload this slide as a Word document on Google Drive. To be sure that your learners can edit it, you have to go to Share, and then selects Editor and anyone with a link. Then we'll copy the link and paste it to our online classroom chat. And that's it! We are ready to go. Split your class into groups of 4 in your online teaching platform. Ask each learner to open a different clue sheet, A to D, or depending on your number of learners, as much as you want, and then take in turns to read the clues aloud. The others must listen carefully and then discuss together to decide where to write the names of the fruits and vegetables in the online documents, meaning here. Listening with a purpose. To make the exercise more challenging, you could give your learners more complex problems to solve. Those could be, for example, locating guests in a hotel, determining where their hometowns are, or determining what their professions are. You could also record all the audio yourself and then share the audio clues with your learners. They would then have to work alone or in groups to determine the solution to the problem. More traditional fill-the-gap exercises will also help your learners practice their listening skills. Here, for example, is a pair exercise about Ramadan, where each partner has different words omitted from their own version of the same text. Pairs must work together to fill in the missing words. This exercise leads nicely to a discussion about Ramadan, or Islam, or holidays in general, if so you wish. You can create your own text and omit the words you prefer according to your learner's level. You can also ask your learners to listen to and act according to instructions. For example, following directions on an online city map or drawing a picture according to what they hear. More active variations on the theme include hearing instructions on physical activity, for example, hand movements or body movements in general. They could also fold an origami shape. It is always fun to compare the end results. For more learning input, you can ask your learners to give the directions themselves to their classmates. You can vary the complexity of the task according to the level of your students. So, a few ideas of how to make your learners practice their listening and speaking skills in a non-threatening way. Time to move on to our final part of this module and see how we can help our advanced learners improve their speaking using games.